Ella and Frank walked out of the wedding hall hand in hand. People clapped and danced behind them. Frank leaned close and said quietly, "Follow me, I want to show you something." He led her to the parking lot. There, in front of them, was a black luxury car with a gold ribbon across the front. "It's yours," he said, smiling. She turned to him, hugged him tightly. It was the best gift she had ever received. A month later, Ella dressed up for work. She got into the same car, turned the key, and pulled out onto the motorway. Halfway through, the car suddenly stopped. No sound, no warning. It just stopped. She frowned, tried again. Nothing. She opened the door, stepped out carefully, and stood by the side of the road and called a mechanic. Mr. Wale was in his workshop eating lunch when a call came in. He sighed quietly, cleaned his hand, and picked up. "Good afternoon, sir. Please, my car just stopped on the road. I don't know what happened. It's not starting again." "Okay, madam, I'm coming," he replied. He got into his van and drove to meet her. 30 minutes later, he arrived. Ella moved aside as he got into the driver's seat. He turned the key once. The car started immediately. Ella blinked. It's working." Mr. Wale stepped out and closed the door. "Madam, there's nothing wrong with this car. You can drive." "Mr. Wale, but I tried that. I pressed everything," she said quietly. He gave her a small shrug. She paid him and got back into the car. As she drove off, her heart was unsettled. A few mornings later, Frank was in the bathroom getting ready for work. "Ella, please arrange the file for me. Just keep it on the bed. I need to leave early." "Okay," she replied. She placed the file neatly on the bed and went to the kitchen. A few minutes later, Frank stepped out and looked around. "Ella, where's the file?" "Baby's on the bed," she answered, walking into the room. But the file wasn't there. They both searched the room. Nothing. "Babe, I left it here. I placed it on the bed just as you asked." Frank walked to the fridge to get water. He opened the door and there it was. He picked it up slowly. "Ella, you put this here?" "No, babe, I didn't even go near the fridge." Frank didn't say another word. He just nodded and turned away. Ella stood still. She could remember clearly she had placed it on the bed. So how did it end up in the fridge? A few months later, Ella missed her period. She also noticed that her body felt different. Frank took her to the hospital for a checkup. After the test, the doctor looked at them and smiled. "Congratulations, you're expecting a baby!" Ella held her chest. Surprise! Frank stood beside her speechless for a moment. Then he leaned forward and held her hand. They both smiled. It felt like a new chapter was opening. To celebrate, they went to a quiet luxury restaurant. They laughed, ordered a few light meals, and took pictures on Frank's phone. The next morning, Frank brought breakfast to her in bed. "Babe, you need your strength now. Eat something," he said. She smiled and picked up the spoon. A few spoons of cereal, a bite of eggs. But minutes later, she sat up and placed a hand on her chest. She rushed into the bathroom and threw it all up. "Babe, I don't think I can eat that. My stomach doesn't agree with it." "Okay, no problem. It's fine. Just try the juice." She took a sip of the orange juice, but pushed the cup away. "You know what? I'll just rest a little. I don't want the juice." Frank helped her back to bed and tucked the blanket around her. A few hours later, Ella sat up in bed. Outside, the gardener was trimming the flowers and mowing the grass. She heard the hum of the machine. Then the smell reached her nose. Something stirred in her. The smell was sweet, fresh, inviting. She got out of bed and walked to the garden. The gardener had moved to another part of the compound. She looked around and bent down, beside the hedge. She picked up a handful of grass and brought it close to her nose. She smelt it. Then she took a bite. It tasted good, cold, crunchy, soft. She bent lower and ate more. She moved behind the wall and kept eating. To her, it felt like she was eating coleslaw. When she had eaten enough, she wiped her hands, went back inside and drank a cup of water. She felt much better. By the time Frank came in, she was already dressed. "You're looking okay. Are you sure you're fine now?" Babe, I'm perfectly fine. Should I order lunch for you?" "No need. I'm good. I'll see you later, okay?" She picked up her bag and left for work. A few days later, they were preparing for an evening event. As Ella bent down to wear her shoes, Frank noticed her feet. "Ella, your feet are swollen. Maybe you should rest," he said. Ella looked up at him slowly. "Oh, so now I'm fat." "What? I didn't say you are fat. I only said your feet look swollen." "Baby, it means the same thing. You're calling me fat because I'm pregnant. Eh? What kind of husband are you?" Her voice was rising. Frank stepped back, confused. They argued. Ella got up and threw the shoe aside. "Go without me. Maybe you'll find one of those slim models at the event," she said. That night, when Ella came to bed, Frank noticed an awful smell. "Ella, did you bathe?" he asked. "Yes." "Why did you ask?" "Because you are not smelling okay." She stared at him in disbelief. Another argument started. Frank picked up his pillow and left the room. They slept in separate rooms that night. The next morning, Frank called the doctor. He explained everything. The mood swings, the argument, the sudden changes. Dr. Timothy listened calmly. "Mr. Frank, don't worry. It's just the hormones. She'll settle with time." Frank ended the call and sat on the edge of the bed. He didn't know what to think. Ella had never acted like this before. The next morning, before Ella left for work, she quietly packed a small paper bag filled with fresh grass from the garden. She had woken up craving it again. By midday, Ella was sitting in her office working on some files. She reached into her bag and took out the paper bag. She looked around. No one was watching. She picked out the grass and slowly started chewing it. But the grass finished too quickly. She opened the empty bag and pressed her face close to it, smelling the paper. Her stomach turned again. The cravings grew stronger. She stood up, picked her bag and hurried to the parking lot. By the time Ella reached home, she didn't bother changing clothes. She stepped out of the car, went straight to the garden and looked around. Some of the grass clippings had been piled in one corner by the gardener. She knelt down, scooped a handful and rushed inside. She emptied it into a white ceramic plate, opened the kitchen cabinet, took out a bottle of palm oil, poured some on top. Then she sat down and began to eat. She didn't hear the sound of the gate. Frank walked in and stopped at the entrance of the living room. He froze. Ella looked up, startled. Grass in her mouth, palm oil on her fingers. "Ella, what are you doing?" I just had a craving." "Craving for this?" She didn't answer. She looked away. "There is food in this house. You could have told me to order something. If you wanted something else," Frank said. His voice was calm but tense. I don't feel like eating anything else," she said. He stared at her, then reached for his phone. "Get your bag. We're going to the hospital now." At the hospital, Dr. Timothy ran some quick tests and asked a few questions. "Mr. Frank, there's a rare condition called pica disease. When pregnant women start craving things that are not food, it's strange, but it happens sometimes." "That's not a good enough answer. She's eating grass with palm oil. What if it harms the baby?" The doctor sighed. "Well, Mr. Frank, we'll keep monitoring. Just keep an eye on her and ensure she eats the right things, okay?" Frank didn't say anything else. On the drive home, no one spoke. When they entered the house, Ella went straight to the room. Frank stayed in the living room, sitting in silence. A few days later, Ella was in her office again. Boxes of chalk had been brought in for distribution to some local schools. The cartons were stacked near the window. As she walked past one, she paused. She picked up a stick, held it close, smelt it. She placed it in her mouth and bit it. She didn't expect it to taste good, but it did. She sat down and kept eating. By the time her boss walked in, 3 sticks of chalks were already gone. He stood by the door, shocked. "Ella, are you okay?" She quickly looked up and wiped her mouth. I'm sorry, sir. Just my pregnancy cravings. Yeah, I'm sorry." He stared at her for a moment, then quietly stepped out. Later that evening, Frank received a phone call. It was Ella's boss. "Mr. Frank, please keep an eye on your wife. Today I saw her eating chalk in her office. Something is not right." "No problem, sir. I will look into it." Frank thanked him and ended the call. He sat on the couch, staring at the floor. What if this was beyond medical? He couldn't take her out anymore. He didn't know what she might eat next. One afternoon, Frank drove to his mother's house to invite her for their annual family celebration. They sat together in the living room, sipping juice. So how is my daughter-in-law? How is Ella?" Frank hesitated. "Mom, she's not herself." "What do you mean?" "Mom, she eats grass with palm oil. She eats chalk. Her mood swings is just out of place. One minute she's happy, the next minute she's shouting or crying. I don't even know what to do." His mother's face grew serious. She looked at him quietly. Frank sighed. No, mommy, don't give me that look. I know what that look is about. I know what you're trying to say." She paused for a moment, then she said it. "What if it's Miranda?" Frank sat up, sharper now. "Mom, no. We dealt with her years ago. Remember the prophet? The river? Those prayers? Miranda is gone." "Frank, listen to me. What an elder sees sitting down. Even if you climb the tallest of trees, you cannot see it." "Mom, listen. I came here to invite you for the family celebration. Please don't start digging up old things." Then he stood up, picked his keys, and left. On his way home, Frank drove in silence. His mother's words kept echoing in his mind. Miranda. He remembered her. She had followed him in his dreams since childhood. At first, she was just a playmate, a young girl, and later, she started calling him her husband and followed him everywhere. But as he grew older, the dreams became intense. In secondary school, Miranda became jealous. She would appear when he tried to talk to other girls. In university, it became worse. She showed up in his lecture hall. He spoke to her out loud. People stared. Some thought he was losing his mind. That was when his mother took him to a prophet. They went near a river. The prayers were strong. A spiritual separation was declared. And after that, she disappeared. Frank hadn't seen Miranda in years. Not even once. He believed she was gone for good. A few days later, the family celebration took place in their home. Relatives gathered. The house was full of laughter and music. Ella walked out holding a medium-sized gift box. "Ma'am, I have something for you," she said, smiling at Frank's mom and aunt. But the moment they opened it, 2 large rats jumped out. Screams filled the room. People stood up. Some ran toward the door. Frank froze. He stared at Ella, unable to speak. "Ella, what is wrong with you? What is this?" Ella looked down confused. Her hands began to shake. "Frank, I packed the gift. I really did. I don't know how this happened." Frank's voice tightened. "You put my file in the fridge? You eat grass? You eat chalk? Now rats! Rats in a gift box! I didn't do this. I swear I didn't." Frank turned away from her and walked into the hallway. He didn't say another word to her that night. Later that evening, Ella called her best friend, Pamela. Her voice was low and tired. She explained everything, the cravings, the arguments, the rats. Pamela listened without interrupting. Then she spoke, calm but firm. Ella, I've been telling you this. You need Jesus. I've been inviting you to church. You keep saying no. Pamela, I don't think this is about God. Maybe I need to go abroad for diagnosis. Maybe I'm not well. Maybe I'm mad. You are not mad. This is spiritual. I've known you since you were little. You were never like this. You need Jesus. Why are you doing like this? Jesus is not for the weak. He needs you. Come back home. Please. Ella didn't answer immediately. She sat on the floor, a phone in her hand. You know what? Just let me think about it. No problem. Just think about it. Let God help you before this gets worse. Okay. I'll think about it, I promise. One afternoon, Frank heard a knock at the door. He walked over and opened it slowly. Standing in front of him was Miranda. She looked exactly as she had in his childhood dreams. Only now, she was more real than ever. Frank's heart skipped. Won't you ask me to come in? She said calmly. Before he could speak, she had already appeared in the living room, sitting on the couch. Frank stood still. What? What are you doing here? No. I'm dreaming. You're not real. You're not real. Miranda smiled. Not real? And yet I'm in your house. That's rude, Frank. Are you not going to offer me something? No, please leave. I got rid of you. Oh, you did? By going to the river. You tried to break our marriage in my own territory. She crossed her legs and looked at him. That prophet who prayed for you, he was from our kingdom. You can't walk away from a covenant, okay? We are meant to be together. Do you know we're expecting a child in my world before you betrayed me? She leaned back. And your Ella, she's already under my control. The grass, the chalk, the documents in the fridge. Did she tell you about the broken down car? That was all me, darling. Frank stared at her. What? You did all that? Yes, and I'm going to do much more. And now listen, I'm giving you 24 hours. Send her away or I will ruin everything you love. Just then, the door opened again. Ella stepped in. Hi, Frank. She paused. Who is she? Miranda turned calmly. Oh, Ella, I'm his friend. We went to university together. Oh, don't worry. He told me your name. Frank nodded. Yes, Ella. She's from the university. Okay. Miranda, can I offer you anything? Oh, no need, darling. You see, I live nearby, by the seaside. I was just passing by. Then she walked out. That night, Frank couldn't sleep. The next morning, Ella made jollof rice and grape juice. Frank took one sip of the juice and dropped the cup sharply. What is this? Frank, it's juice. No, wait, oh my God, come and smell it. How dare you put your urine into this cup for me? You gave me your urine to drink. Frank, no, it's not urine now, it's grape juice. I didn't know. Okay, come and smell it. As soon as Ella perceived it, truly it was urine. You know what? Ella, get out. Get out. I need space. I need to breathe. Leave. Frank, but I'm pregnant. Get out. Leave. Pack your things and leave this house. Ella said nothing. She packed her bag and went to Pamela's house. She cried in her arms. Pamela just held her. Few days later, Miranda appeared again. Frank, darling, it's time to take my place. No, you won't. You don't own me. Oh, you still think I can't have you? Really? And you have the audacity to raise your voice at me? She slapped him across the face. Instantly, Frank's mind broke. He started laughing, then crying, then tore his clothes and ran around the house, speaking to no one. Neighbors gathered and called for help. Frank was rushed to the psychiatric hospital. The next morning, Ella's phone rang. It was Frank's mother. Her voice was heavy. Ella, have you heard? Frank is in the hospital. He's in the psychiatric ward. They say he has gone mad. Ella, help me. I don't know what else to do. Ella, please. Mama, please calm down. Mama, calm down, okay? Ella dropped to her knees. God, what is happening? What is happening to us? Pamela walked into the room and held her again. Ella, this is not ordinary. It is spiritual. And it's time you stop running away from God. That evening, Ella finally broke. Pamela led her in prayer. Ella gave her life to Christ and surrendered everything. The next morning, they went to church. The sermon was on spiritual spouses. The pastor spoke with fire, explaining how demons attach themselves through dreams, soul ties, and broken spiritual gates. He encouraged the church to pray at midnight, to fast, to study, and to fight back. He also encouraged them to pick up books at the bookstand. After the church service, Ella went over to the bookstand. She picked up Prayer Rain and Deliverance from Spirit Husband and Spirit Wife. That night, they began midnight prayers. One midnight, during prayer, Ella had a vision. Frank was seated in the middle of fire. Chains bound his hands. Miranda stood beside him, laughing, shouting, "It belongs to me. You can't take him from me." Ella stepped forward in the dream and raised her Bible. She shouted, "It is written in Psalm chapter 2 verse 1 to 2. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves against the Lord and his anointed. But he that sits in heaven shall laugh. He shall put them in derision." Then she declared. Miranda screamed again, "No, he's mine. His body belongs to me." Ella raised her voice even higher. 2 Corinthians 6:14 to 15. What fellowship has light with darkness? What concord has Christ with Belial? Know we not that our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit? Therefore you have no legal right over him. You are a trespasser. This body belongs to God. Then she declared with power, "Even the captive of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contended with thee." Isaiah 49 verse 25. As she prayed, fire fell from above. Chains snapped. Miranda screamed as flames consumed her. She vanished. Frank stood up free. Ella woke up, shaking. That same morning, Frank sat up in the hospital, calm, sane, and whole. The nurses were shocked. When Ella and Pamela arrived, Frank looked up and cried, I'm sorry. No, baby, it's okay. No, I should have told you everything. I thought I dealt with her. Ella sat beside him. She handed him the prayer books. Babe, there is no need for you to cry. This is not the time for us to cry. It's time for us to fight this together. Okay? You know the devil never goes on retirement break. We need to pray, okay? So I got prayer rain and I got deliverance from spirit husband and spirit wife. We are going to deal with this together, okay? They prayed together. Frank's mother came to the hospital. She was surprised to see that her son was well. Because of this, Frank's mother became serious with God, even the rest of the family. A few months later, Ella gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. Despite all the grass, the chalk, the shame, God restored them. The covenant was broken and the family kept praying. I believe the story has resonated with you one way or the other. I will leave the books in the pinned comment below so that you can go ahead to purchase it if you want to. And most importantly, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Click the next video showing on your screen. I'll see you right here. God bless you.